That's right. We are back. It is Orange and Blue today, presented by Sean Ponda, Cecil Lammey, Andrew Mason. And the question that every Broncos fan wants to know, you already know what the question is because you're getting a ton of questions on Twitter or whatever it's called. Like, are there going to be deep shots, Mace? Well, what do you think?
Depends what the coverage is from Ron Rivera's defense with Washington. If it's more shell coverage, you're going to see more underneath stuff. It's going to be taking very much what's there between that aspect of the philosophy and just the general dink and dunk tactics of Sean Payton and Joe Lombardi. I think we'll continue to see it look much the way it did in week one.
Yeah, and what it did in week one, that's what you're going to do is help to move those chains and have those long sustained drives. And I know some of you don't want to hear it, but Mace, there were some positives to take away. And when you're having those sort of sustained drives, sustained success, always got to slow down when I say that.
Sustained
Success. Yes. I think it could be a good thing. So get ready to get more of that.
Not the only thing that's good if it's sustained.
That's very true.
Yes.
Yes.
But I digress.
That's why you might have to slow down. But, hey, pick up the pace if you're the Broncos. We talked about it on yesterday's show.
Sometimes you want to go. Sometimes you want to go slow. Sometimes you want to go fast.
Depends
on the moment.
Exactly.
Hey, but the thing is, the Broncos can go up tempo.
Mm-hmm.
They did that at the end of the first half on Sunday. They've worked on that quite a bit. And they had 2 8-minute drives on Sunday, which is 2 more than they had all of last year.
Right.
So I think they've got the pieces to do that.
So go ahead and do it, but set up those deep shots for when they're there. Don't force it. And one of the great things, again, not to get stuck on last week's game, is that you didn't see Russell Wilson forcing it. He was playing within the structure of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the system says short stuff.
Exactly. And that's sorry. Yeah. No, you're right. I have nothing to add to that. You're right. I could add something. I concur. Like, that's part of it. Like you said, I'm like, yeah, well, I agree. There you go.
There you go. That's how we do it on this show, Orange and Blue today. And Josh Dobbs and Russell Wilson both had the same number of 15-yard passing attempts last week. It was 2. Dobbs playing for Arizona.
Completions or attempts?
Attempts.
Okay.
That's 2. Guess what? Now that's Arizona played the Commanders. Now you play the Commanders. So be patient, Broncos country. Again, we're work in progress here.
Yeah. No one thought it was going to be together at the start of the season, right?
You shouldn't have thought.
Some did. You shouldn't have.
Right.
I mean, this is 6 consecutive losing seasons, most of which had bad offense. It's a quarterback who had the worst season of his career last year. And oh, by the way, he played that first game without 2 of his top 3 receivers. You'll get one back in all likelihood on Sunday when Jerry Jeudy's back in there. But yeah, dial back the expectations. Dial back the vitriol and the anger when those expectations aren't met.
Yeah.
Look
for the win. And if you win ugly, who cares? It's a W at the end of the day. And the other thing the fans are upset over is, can they get pressure? Can they get sacks? You and I talked to Zach Allen in the locker room this week. So we've got some ideas on how they can do that. But Sam Howell is a different quarterback. So if you are Damari Mathis, get ready. Terry McLaurin, a full participant in practice this week so far. It could be McLaurin on Surtain, which means Jahan Dotson, who's a speedster, could be on Damari Mathis. And Broncos fans, just get ready for that.
Yeah, and it means that they're going to be breaking off their routes. It means Sam Howell is going to be extending plays in the backfield, although one thing you want to do is keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside of that, get wide to where he really can take off and do some things with his legs. But this is a different type of challenge. Jimmy Garoppolo got the ball off quickly. The pass rush wasn't going to be a factor. Sam Howell does hold on to it more often. He does try to play a little bit of hero ball back there. So there are going to be some opportunities. I think you may look at things at the end of the game and say, oh, well, they had this many QB hits and this many pressures and this many sacks, and think the pass rush is great and fixed. Not necessarily. This is just going to be a different game with a different quarterback that takes on a different style. And Zach Allen alluded to that in the locker room this week. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah, I think it turns from, trying to get your hands up to block, passes to, you just got to keep rushing. So, a lot of, the plays that were made last week, with Arizona, it was, more kind of pursuit. It wasn't necessarily like win on the first move type of thing. So, if we just keep on rushing, hopefully we get there.
Yeah, you'll get there. Keep on rushing. And last week, 0 sacks. Mace, I don't think the number's going to be 0 this week.
No. They got to tell Sam Howell they got to keep on rushing you. Because the only thing you want to do.
Yes, we'll go a little REO Speedwagon, right?
The Speedwagon.
The Speedwagon. REO. That's right.
They peaked at roughly the same time as the flock of seagulls.
Yeah.
Flock of seagulls.
Hey, but it was a hell of a peak. It was a nice peak.
Yes.
That's for sure. We get a peek at what the Broncos are doing out at practice. We can't tell you anything, but again, pressure can come from all sorts. Corner blitzes, extra blitzers, middle pressure is something all these teams need. So, and that'll help Damari Mathis. Like, we like Damari Mathis. We appreciate his game. He's a physical player, and he's got a short memory, Mace. He had to have one last week.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a lot easier for everyone on the back end if the pass rush is effective. But again, it's probably going to be effective just because Sam Howell is going to hang on to the ball more and be looking for those late opening receivers downfield and the guys breaking off their routes. It's just going to take on a completely different tenor than we saw. And that's going to lead to an opportunity for an explosive defensive play at Sam Howell's expense. Arizona had a scoop and score in week 1.
Right.
There's going to be the chance for a big play on the defensive end again this week, just because of how Sam Howell attacks the quarterback position. He's going to make some plays because he extends, but can you make a play at his expense because of that? That may determine whether the Broncos are 1-1. I almost said 2-0. 1-1 or 0-2. Yeah. Oh. Hasn't quite hit me. They lost on Sunday.
I want to see a big man touchdown. Well,
DJ Jones fumble recovery.
Would be beautiful.
Man round. Forget about just a big man touchdown.
Yes.
Give me the biggest man. Give me a score for him or Mike Purcell.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Well, we talked to a big man in the locker room, Quinn Miners, who started the conversation of the day, basically, and talking about the meat on the bone. Mace, you want to set this one up? Because, well, we got a lot of that.
Well, yeah, and it was something worth bringing up to people involved in the running game. The running game was fine, but you got the sense that they left some yards out there. Quinn Miners kind of gets into that as he's talking about what the offense left undone. Roll that footage.
Yeah, it was great. We were getting the runs called, getting some play pass, some drop back. It was a little bit of everything, and that's, when an offense can really start to roll. It was nice to have, the 12 to 14 play drives and, find a way to get firsts on third downs and really work together that way. I think there's still more meat on the bone when it comes to the run game, and I think as we continue to build that togetherness in the run game and all that kind of stuff, it'll open up a little bit more.
It's almost the perfect thing to hear from him.
Yeah, and he wasn't the only one thinking that as well.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Chris Manhertz, also very involved in the running game from the tight end position on the blocking end.
1,000%, especially when we watch the tape and we see our shortcomings. A lot of it just had to do with execution and communication. So, again, those little things are easily fixable. We just have to rep it as a group and pay attention to it. So, pretty confident we'll get that done.
Yeah, it's something you brought up too, the errors of execution. Like, they can fix that.
Yes.
They can run better, and they ran pretty good against the Raiders. It can be better.
Yeah. Now it's going to be tougher against the front seven that Washington offers, and that's sort of a key thing that goes in it. Just as you're not dealing with the same kind of quarterback in terms of facing the Washington offense, you're not dealing with the same dynamic facing the Washington defense. That defensive line in particular is as good as you're going to find in the NFL.
Right.
Huge challenge. But there are going to be opportunities, and particularly if you can get Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams outside in space, they can make some plays. And, get it in terms of leaving meat on the bone. It's not just the blockers talking about it. It's Javonte Williams himself talking about that as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot more yards out there. We could have had a lot more explosive plays. That's something that Coach talked about a lot this week, having more explosives. So hopefully we can get that done and come away with a win Sunday.
For you, what's the key to those explosive plays?
Explosive plays, all 11. Receivers blocking downfield, O-line getting their blocks right, us having the right read, Russ getting to the right place. So, it's really a collective effort.
I love that collective effort, and we heard from most everyone that's going to be involved in that effort, Mace.
Yeah, the interior blocking, the outside blocking, and then the person actually with the ball, one of them in Javonte Williams. I would also say, it's a collective effort, but definitely with Javonte Williams, it's part of him getting all the way back and being able to have those tackle breaking runs that made him a cult hero 2 years ago before he had that horrific knee injury last October in Las Vegas. The angry runs, as Kyle Brandt would say on NFL Network. You get the feeling watching him reaching that angry run level that he was at in 2021. He's working back toward that. Still not there. I thought it was very telling how they divided the reps in week 1 between Javonte and Samaje Perine.
Right.
That we saw more Samaje Perine in the second half. Clearly, there's kind of a limit on what Javonte can do right now at this point in his recovery, a little more than 11 months out from when he had that injury.
And honestly, I wouldn't mind if Samaje was a little angrier when he ran. We saw it on the one play he didn't pick up the first down where he's trying to make a move and go outside. Like, dude, plant your foot, go. You're a big man, make him pay. And use some Jaleel McLaughlin.
Straight ahead and into a defender rather than just trying to elude.
You're not going to dance.
Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams, their games are not being elusive. They're running over people.
No.
Javonte or Jaleel McLaughlin, it's about being elusive, but at the same time, the blocks have got to be there in front of him. And Jaleel, when he got the ball on Sunday, one of which was wiped out by a penalty, didn't really have a shot.
Mace, I got to tell you, on this Thursday, I am feeling better.
You are good.
I'm feeling better. Still picking the Broncos, but I'm feeling better, especially with that meat on the bone.
Okay, you're going to pick the Broncos, so you obviously felt good enough about them.
Yes.
To pick them in the first place.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Jeudy potentially coming back, meat on the bone of the ground game. Sounds like a Broncos win to me.
But no Greg Dulcich. So you're losing a vertical explosive threat from the tight end position.
Right. We shall see. We'll be back at practice on Friday.
You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need.
And that's all we need. Orange and Blue today. We're presented by Champ Honda. He's Andrew Mason. I'm Cecil Lammey. Everyone out there, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.